You do not want to lose them games, it's pretty simple.
I look forward to getting stuck into them.
So it's very important that you come out on top. Both sets of fans going at it, it goes wild.
It can get quite spicy out in the middle.
Beating Lancashire was everything.
It meant so much.
You can't lose to Yorkshire, it's in our bloods, I think.
You don't have any friends with them, but as soon as you cross the line, it's a battle.
There are more cricket clubs in Yorkshire than there are in Australia. There are 747 cricket clubs, and it's just like the brass bands. It's a culture.
You go around the county during the winter months and you go to these little pockets where you think they don't play much cricket, and you go to a Q&A and you get 200 people turning up and you're just overwhelmed with the support.
You know, there's a real history of cricket in and around both regions. When you arrive in Yorkshire, one of the first things that people talk about is cricket. It's either tea or cricket.
I guess as a kid up here, you're taught to read, write and support the Red Rose. That's your R's up here.
It means a hell of a lot to the public of Yorkshire that Yorkshire cricket is strong.
Obviously not born in Yorkshire, but you know, when I first moved over, first signed for the county, you know, I heard a lot about it from the lads. First game, you know, I could see packed crowd, and it was obviously a big deal.
I think as a Lancashire player, you just grow up knowing that they're your biggest rivals, and you always want to play in a Roses clash.
But you don't realise how big it is until you kind of play the first team games. The team really hates getting beaten in these games.
A lot of sixes, bickering, always a good game of cricket. Because it's that game, everyone just seems to notch it up a gear, and it comes from nowhere. I think it comes from gut, from pride. Everything just seems 10 times better. Because we're playing Yorkshire tomorrow, even I get a bit of a buzz and think, right, I want to perform today.
You hear about the great performances of the great players in front of you. You know, Darren Lehman scoring a big double 100 and the runs that Boycott have scored. And you want to write yourself into the history books alongside them big names.
We beat them comfortably, and I got my first 100.
Personally, I got quite a few runs in Roses games. I got, I don't know, half a dozen hundreds, I think.
And then we went to Old Trafford, the bank holiday, and played there, and I got another 100. Amazing.
Got a fiver here at Headingley on this ground, and my legsman are getting a fiver on this ground, so that was great.
And then we played the next year, and I got another 100, a third one, in the third Roses match. Wow!
The famous battles that these two counties have had over the years, it builds it up, and I guess it's for us to be part of that legacy and history and try and put our stamp on it.
And you just can sense it the day or two before that players are just that little bit more focused. The preparation's always that little bit more on it, and players are just that little bit more nervous on the start of the game.
It never changes here. Wherever you feel that you get booed, so I'm quite used to it now. So you love it, look at this, brilliant.
I always remember back in the day not wanting to field down in that corner. There were a few echoes, and you know, we'd run out on the pitch and I'd run as far away from that corner as I could. It was the closest thing to being a footballer as you can get.
I used to run the other way, just try and get the other side of the field for a couple of hours.
On the flip side of that, when you walk off at Old Trafford, I've walked off many a time here in front of a full house, and it's been deadly quiet, and that's a very nice moment if you're silencing the crowd here.
pleasure to play in them matches, terrific. An ordeal when I first started. I wouldn't say anything else. That was nerve-wracking. And I'll never forget that at lunchtime, that they would always delay their entrance into the lunch room, and we would be sat there, and they would walk past us in the Yorkshire blazers, looking absolutely resplendent, and just walk past us and look down as if we didn't exist. It was no holds barred on the field, but at the end of the day's play, and I know we're at Headingley now, and there's a pub over the back here, and both teams would retire there. You'd go and have a beer and yarn and chat and just have some fun. I would think that I'm outside looking in now, and in the recent matches, there's been a bit going on. You know, very recently, Lancashire are a feisty outfit under Stephen Croft, and it'll be very important to them.
Maybe you can speak to each other after the 4 days, but from day 1 to day 4, you kind of don't really get on with them friendly-wise.
It can get quite spicy, yeah. It's no different in the women's game as I'm sure it is in the men's game.
It's quite a good laugh to wind them up. The Yorkies are quite easy to wind up partly anyway, so.
The red rose looks a lot better. Their rose isn't really even a white rose, is it? It looks like a child has drawn theirs.
It's just the best thing about cricket. You can have all that full-on, intense rivalry, but actually you're best of mates with them as well.
You know, I guess of the teams that I played against in my career, the one team off the field that we got on with better than any of the other teams was the Lancashire lads. I think we all feel we're in a similar boat. They'll take the mick out of the Yorkies for being tight, and the Yorkshire lads, I was saying that the Lancashires always bring over the wet weather, and you know, two sets of players that always get on terrifically well off the pitch, but as soon as they get over that white line, it's heated.
I think it's a coming together of like-minded people, but it's just that M62. There's something about it, you know. Shut the gate when you're going back.